So,
drastic
folks,
measures. I'm sorry.
basically, hello there, folks. How are you doing? I'm here again today, tonight with Stephen D. Kelley, the author of Lasers, Cavers, and Magic, and it was all about his life and being a. I'm basically right now. I'm looking up Facebook to try and get this event so I can share it. So bear with me. You want to say hello, Stephen, to the folks while I do that? How are you doing tonight?
I'm okay. This is just it's a Saturday, right? Saturday. Happy
Yeah.
Saturday. Happy Saturday, such as it is. It's still
Yeah.
Saturday where you're at. So.
You're in control to do this share. Because
Uh,
basically, Stephen's got some fans, well, a couple of groups on Facebook, but he can't actually access them because you've been banned from Facebook, and you're slowly getting banned from YouTube as well, Stephen. Yeah.
yeah, it won't be long. We'll talk
And,
about that.
yeah. Did you do a show this week? Because I've never seen it on YouTube
Yeah, I did a show this week, but I couldn't put it up. So
on either channel.
on either channel.
Right. Well, there we go. I've just
Yeah,
shared that.
it's just awful right now.
Right.
So
Yeah. So basically, it's crazy what's going on. I don't know. It's just tough right now because what can we actually say more than we've already said? And there's just still people believing the narrative. I'm tired of it. I've just had enough. I just can't go on with it anymore.
yeah, we're kind of in the same position. It's like I make so many. It's too bad you didn't hear the last show because I keep saying the same thing. But it's like I used to say we're at it's Noah's Ark, in the flood, and they've shut the doors and it's starting to rain. Well, it's not just raining anymore. It's starting to flood, and the boat is floating away. And people are still watching TV and caring about bullshit and just.
Yeah, say sports. I was just watching the boxing. That's why we're a bit late.
Yeah.
Boxing's different though. Boxing's man to man. It's like fucking come on, the better man win.
Violence.
Yeah, that's true. I don't like the what's it, the MMA because I think that's too violent. But the boxing, I still like. I was a fan of Muhammad Ali and that. When I was younger, so that kind of.
Sure. Back in the day, Muhammad Ali. Well, yeah, I could go down the list of all the great boxers and all that, but they don't have that anymore, and I don't watch the TV anyway, so it's like, oh well, right? But
Yeah, it was on.
Mike Tyson's a character, though. He has.
Yeah, I quite like his podcast, and it's kind of he's a very honest guy, and he says it like it is.
He's growing pot. I think he has a pot farm out here somewhere around
Right.
the woods.
Right.
So seems pretty awoke to me.
Yeah, I was actually talking about that recently. I posted something on Facebook about how people are not seeing this. It's like I think you've mentioned it as well. The human brain is like programmed to be subservient to take orders, but when you smoke dope or something, I think it must change your neural pathways and make you connect to your soul more, and the soul then overrides the brain kind of thing because the soul wants to be free.
It's programming. Yeah. It's not a natural human state. It's programming. Yes, we are all programmed from birth.
Yeah.
And it's very, very strongly ingrained. And yeah, it's not until that you've actually gotten high, smoked pot, that you realize, holy crap, I don't have to do any of that.
I'll just play the sitar.
That shit they're trying to tell me is important is not important.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah, that's definitely changes your thinking. So the neural pathways in your brain change. So you're just not locked in that same basically matrix that we're programmed.
If you want to look at it from a biological standpoint, you have to remember that the brain has THC receptors.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, why would it have receptors waiting to receive that THC if it didn't want it?
Yeah.
Like I kind of think the brain wants it.
So why is that such a thing? Do you think? Bill Hicks talked about how can you make nature illegal? And God made a mistake. It's like, oh my God, I left pot everywhere. But basically, why aren't we just tuned into these realms anyway? Why do we need to take a substance? Was there not other more natural ways like meditation and stuff like that can do the same thing?
Well, yeah, but this is the thing about meditation. Meditation is an action. But in order to do that action, you have to achieve calm. And most people struggle with that. I myself have an incredible difficult time trying to achieve an inner quiet and all that, or calm. But I think that's the biggest problem with people, especially if you're listening to all sorts of extraneous stuff like music, and every time you've got a free moment, you've got some song playing and what have you. They that will fill your brain with lyrics and tunes and things that will prevent you. And so instead of hearing messages from source, you're just hearing these songs in your head, and they do that on purpose.
Yeah, that's just the repetition of all these old classics and stuff like that, and all these channels still to this day. It's just, even I work in a workplace, and they play this channel, they play a radio channel, and they play literally the same 20 songs every day, 5 times a day. It's some kind of Chinese torture thing going on.
Wow, it sure sounds like it. Gosh, that's terrible.
It's really, really bad. At Christmas time, I actually nearly had a breakdown one year. Just all these Christmas songs for 6 weeks, repetitive.
Get yourself some of those noise-canceling headphones or something like that. That'll do it.
Yeah.
You sit there at work and not have to listen to it.
Right now, because I've refused to wear a mask, I'm working outside, so I don't have to listen to it, and it's like so good. And actually, I was for a while wearing earphones, but I've actually stopped that, and I'm trying to like meditate when I'm working just by myself and just try and get that kind of peace time.
Well, just stop listening to the radio when you're in your car. That's the first thing. Turn the radio off in your car. You want to be able to meditate. I
was watching something the other day, all this Lucifer Satan kind of talk, or listening to somebody, and they said, how Lucifer was the best musician. Music is the devil's music kind of thing. So the music itself is like a trance, and it controls you basically. And
technically, that's true. Technically, that's true, because if you look at the origin of music, first of all, before they had music, they had to have musical instruments, and there were two. They know exactly. They talk about this in the Bible. Of course, the Bible could be all bullshit, but just the names itself should tell you. So it was the musical instrument was created by Tubal Cain, and the music was created by Jubal Cain. And when they created the music, they didn't just create music. They also created makeup, and they created colorful dye for their clothing.
The hippie era.
Well, the whole purpose of this was to lure the Annunaki down from their little fortress that they had over there in Lebanon or wherever the hell it was, and get them to come down and have sex with the women, because since this is the thing, the Bible, they represent the story from one perspective, and then Epic of Gilgamesh, they represent it from another perspective, and then the Annunaki, they may say it happened this way, and everyone's got this different perspective of what actually happened. But what supposedly happened, according to their story, is that they figured out how to dye clothing and make colorful clothing for the women. They figured out how to make makeup so that they could make the women look seductive, and they figured out how to play music so that the women could dance. Okay. And they did all this so that the Anunnaki, sitting up in their, fortresses, would look down and go, "Oh my God, those little monkey women look really, really sexy." And they left their fortress, and those were the so-called fallen angels, of the Old Testament, supposedly. Those guys came down, mated with the human women that they found so attractive because they were dancing around and stuff. I assume they had the larger women doing that, because certainly the small women would struggle with the Anunnaki because they were kind of large. But either way, this is what generated the what I don't know what they call them, the Nephilim. Okay, the Nephilim were the giants, the human Anunnaki crossbreed, and Goliath, was obviously one of these, and certainly there were quite a few of them scattered about. Obviously, they were finding bones of these things all over North America. I'm sure they did in Europe also, but yeah, that's what those giants were. They were Nephilim. That's where they came from. So yeah, that's the origins of music.
Okay.
This little monkey, yeah, James. But,
but it was other humans that made this music, these instruments.
Well,
why would they want the Anunnaki to come down and mate with their women?
Because they want. Oh, because they were like this is how they took control. See, I mean, you got to understand the whole story, the Epic of Gilgamesh and all that. Basically, the Anunnaki came here allegedly to mine gold, and they created a bunch of these hybrid humans to basically act as workers and slaves. And the hybrid humans were influenced by, Lucifer, or if you want to say that, Lucifer basically, I mean, it's twisted, all right? But basically, Lucifer basically told the humans, hey, make music, make colorful clothing, make makeup, dress up your women, dance, lure them down here, corrupt them, take their power, all this sort of thing. So if you look at the whole story of what happened, supposedly what happened, was that when a certain contingent of these Anunnaki went down and mated with the women, they were the fallen angels, and they created the Nephilim. They got in trouble. They'd actually started a rebellion. Okay, it's sort of like a mutiny on the bounty type of a situation. But basically, the Anunnaki that were here are like colonists. Okay, they're only here for so long. They're here to mine the gold, and then the ship comes around, picks them up, drops off a new crew. So these guys were like stuck out here in the boondocks of Earth, supposedly, in this colony mining gold, and Nibiru was far, far away with their women, I guess, apparently. So they got homesick and decided to mate with the Homo sapiens. Right. Anyway, the thing is that as a result of this, and you'd have to read the Epic of Gilgamesh and all those stories to get the names right, but basically there was a rebellion, and the ones who were on Earth decided that they were going to stay here, and they were going to take over, and they were going to do all this stuff. And this caused the home planet Nibiru to essentially try to take them out, kind of like a American Revolution type situation. So that's when they came by with Nibiru, they came by at such a trajectory that they caused the ice cap of the South Pole to melt from the lower recesses, and essentially a big chunk of it slide into the ocean and cause a tsunami in the Indian Ocean, which went all the way up and wiped out the Mesopotamian Valley, up to the Mount Ararat and all that, past that. So yeah, that was supposedly their version of the Great Flood, and this was done to wipe out the hybrids and all that. Okay, now in the Epic of Gilgamesh, of course,
hybrid humans or the Nephilim?
The humans.
Right.
The Nephilim don't have any problem. They can just get in their little spaceship and go up and float around. They don't have to worry about the water. It's the damn little slave monkeys that they created on the ground that are going to get. So
the offspring between the Anunnaki and the hybrid humans, the Nephilim, they don't have to. They can go up in spaceships as well.
Well, yeah. In other words, the powers that be were trying to wipe out these humans, the same humans that made the music and made the makeup and made the clothing, and suckered a bunch of the Nephilim to come down and have sex with their women. That had to see. This is the thing: the humans, by mating with the Anunnaki, were trying to enhance their genetic status, so to speak, and get power that they didn't want them to have. But here's the thing: we had Noah's Ark. Now, we didn't just have Noah's Ark; we also had the Ark of Gilgamesh. There were at least 2 arks. And of course, if the Epic of Gilgamesh talks about this, and basically the idea was that the Ark allowed the humans, what was left of the hybrids, to escape this flood. And I'm not saying the whole rest of the world didn't have humans running around in one level or another, because it's very possible that not all humans were hybridized, and not all humans on the Earth are the result of hybridization. In other words, when you have a people that don't have written history, they're not building structures. They're essentially hunter-gatherer types with relatively primitive structures, like they do in Africa, kind of a thing, mud huts, that sort of a thing. Those people can be there all the time in great numbers, but because they have no history and because they're not laying foundation, they come and go. It's like, in other words, it's like if you look at human history in the world, where it's documented, you can only go by what's documented. Obviously, Mesopotamia and the Sumerians and all that, it's pretty well documented. Korea has a very well documented history. Japan has a well documented history. China does not. China is actually not as old as it thinks it is. In fact, it was populated by the Koreans, the Japanese, and the people from Mesopotamia. Okay, so, but here's the thing: as far as the continent of Africa and places like North America, South America, etc., they probably had indigenous hunter-gatherer people living at the same time that there were people living in Mesopotamia. But because they had no history, they didn't build anything, so they like didn't count. It was like they weren't even there.
So the hybrid humans, who are they a hybrid from then?
Who are they hybrid from? From the Homo sapiens? Well, they came from they used Neanderthals and what have you, that kind of a thing. Basically.
Okay, so the Anunnaki came, mixed up the Neanderthals with other humanoids to create the hybrid humans.
They used their own
indigenous
they
human.
didn't have to mix it. They didn't have to mix it. They were able to do genetic modification to do exactly what they wanted.
Right.
Basically, they wanted us to look like them, only we weren't going to have the extra big, tall, long head like they had, because that was so that we wouldn't have it was to make us stupid, basically. By not having the cone head, we didn't have the 8th chakra, which helped connect us to the upper levels.
Right, I'm with you. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, go back to the folk that created the music then. That was particular tribes, these hybrid tribes.
Well, that was the tribes of Israel or whatever, but...
yeah.
Hang on, I'm looking for my mute button. I was just going to say something. I don't have a mute, but I have to tell somebody that just walked in the room something. But here we go. Unmuted. Okay. Did that work?
I can still hear you.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, I guess my mute button doesn't work, huh? They don't give you one on this service, apparently.
Well, if you hover over the microphone, can you see the microphone underneath the screen?
Microphone underneath the screen.
If you scroll down,
it is down there. Oh, I see. Okay, hang on a second.
Aye. So, folks, I hope you're enjoying the show. If there's any particular topic you like us to talk about, if you do a short message, we'll see if we can bring that up. But I'm trying not to interact too much with the chat because it can be distracting sometimes.
I know. I was thinking the same thing. That it's fun to have the chat, but at the same time, if all we do is focus on the questions, that's kind of unfair for the people that aren't participating in the show live.
Yeah, it kind of makes it chop and change what we're talking about, and it's a little bit confusing when we're trying to have a conversation to have other people butt in all the time. But anyway, if you make the comments short and sharp, we can read it and maybe bounce off it.
Short, sharp, sweet. I've been listening to Pink Floyd, but
All right. Which particular stuff do you like of theirs?
Well, come on, that comes right after Money. Remember Money, right. And then it goes to the next song, and it goes. They're talking about electroshock therapy. If you make the shock short, sharp, and sweet,
that's right. Yeah, Dark Side of the Moon.
Exactly.
So James here is saying any info on the 8th chakra. He's never heard of that. So basically, they're saying the Anunnaki are the ones with the elongated skulls that have been found. And they've got an 8th chakra. So when they were mixing the natural humans to the earth, or Neanderthals, with them, they got rid of that.
They try to make it, keep us, to limit our capabilities.
Was there not a version of Adam though that was perfect, and they had to kind of somehow dumb it down because it was too connected? Is there not a story about that?
Well, yeah, but here's the thing: when that actually happened, you really don't know. In other words, people think of creation and the Old Testament story of Eden as being something that happened during this current epoch. Okay, it's possible that that's true, but more than likely, it's something that happened many, 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 many epochs ago. Many epochs ago. In fact, according to the Old Testament, obviously that's not the case. But one of the things that we do know is that, at least according to the Hebrews, is that Lilith was involved in all this from very early stages. And Lilith, of course, was responsible for all of these other entities. So that would suggest that that this is much older than the chronological order of what they present in the Old Testament.
Yeah. Well, obviously very selective of what they're putting in the Bible, just by taking books out, and obviously everything that's in there is only stuff that they kind of want us to know, and they use us to control. They don't actually give the true meaning of the Bible. You know, all the priests and stuff, it's all very much, there's written in different levels.
I think it's kind of accurate. I think it's pretty accurate, actually, though. You know, the Old Testament, as far as like a historical context, I think it's somewhat accurate, but I think it does leave a lot out. I think, in other words, the stuff that was going on probably was going on, but there was probably a lot of other stuff going on too.
Yeah,
you know, that wasn't being talked.
Well, that's the world, isn't it? The news tells us this is what's happening, but there's a lot of stuff going on in the world that isn't reported, basically.
Right.
Or recorded. And and a lot of stuff they're telling us is going on isn't actually going on.
Like COVID.
Yeah. YouTube's pissed me off a bit myself, because I was doing the shooting the shit videos, and obviously I've mentioned COVID in there, and they says, oh, this video doesn't agree with the World Health Organization, therefore we've give you a warning and took it off. I was like, you cunts, you know, because
they removed it.
Yeah.
It doesn't agree with the World Health Organization.
Exactly.
Who gives a fuck? Like,
a comment.
God, like, oh no.
Well, on Facebook, there's like stupid local newspapers that keep on posting totally fear-based articles and basic lies of the agenda, and I can't help myself by spouting in every so often. And this guy, one of the comments after us, said something like, why don't you just believe the World Health Organization and the experts? Leave it to them. Wear your mask.
Experts. God. Yeah, let's go back a few years and talk about what the experts believe back a few years. Come on, expert. That's just like
just the whole world's making me go like that these days. Just
this level of stupidity is so over the top. It's like, okay, let's just start from the beginning. Okay, just for the people, just for the record, polio was created by man. It came from DDT poison being sprayed on crops. It caused people to have polio. The vaccine for polio did nothing but make it worse. Okay? It's when they stopped spraying the vaccine is when it went away. And it only stayed because they created a vaccine to make it continue. So it was man-made, just like COVID is man-made. So the whole world is going fucking crazy over something that was man-made. Oh, and by the way, if you catch it, you have only 1% chance of it killing you. But let's all go fucking crazy.
Hi. Well, whatever's happening, it seems to be as Klaus Schwab and his Agenda 21 and the World Economic Forum basically full steam ahead. And it's all there, written for people to see. And it's getting implemented in front of our eyes, and people are still not paying attention. And it's not a good plan, basically. And we have to unite to actually overcome it. I mean, you look at the population, it's quite despondent, you know, to think how we're going to actually unite.
Yeah, but you know what? It's all going to go back. We can all say this is bullshit, and we can all agree that there's a lot of stupid people that are going along with it, but ultimately there's a fraction of those stupid people that are going along with it that are getting paid to abuse other people that might not want to go along with it, and those are the people that we should be taking out. And unfortunately, that's the police. Okay? So if you want to make this shit change, you need a revolution, and before you can have a revolution, the first thing that's got to go away is the police, because right now there's this fake concept that people still believe that the police are somehow not the same as the military. So as soon as you remove that facade that the police are not your friendly neighborhood protectors and guardians, and you turn them into the thug military that they really are, which is what they're actually are, but they're pretending that they're not. Once that facade goes away and everybody realizes that the police are not your friends and they are the extension of the fascist military, the actual police state, and once they become the enemy, then we can have our revolution, okay? And only then, all right?
Yeah, basically the police need to be held accountable for the people who they're supporting, because they've committed treason, and the whole thing
Find out where they live. They have families. Their kids go to school.
Yeah. There's some people
There's no friends. There's a song in Pink Floyd. What do they say in the Animals song? They say, "The pigs are not what they appear to be." Okay, they told us this way back when. And what else they talk about? They talk about the sheep. Man, all the fucking sheep, the stupid fucking sheep.
I made a video about the police, and one bit was about drink driving and stuff like that, and I was putting the punchlines were clips from songs, and there's this picture of a policeman on the wing of the car, and I've got that Pink Floyd song going, and pigs on the wing.
Well, it's true. Those guys knew exactly what was up. I mean, come on, it's so appropriate, even more so now.
Yeah. How can the police stand there against? I've seen some, against housewives trying to tell them the truth.
And, some bullshit law.
Yeah, they know it. They're just saying, "Oh, there's a pandemic." Then the guy's like, "Who says so?" Or the experts say so. They don't. How can they not be questioning?
Experts? What? Who's paying them to say that? God, okay. Here's the thing. Like locally here in LA County, obviously we have it pretty bad with the laws. We have this Getty puppet scumbag Gavin Newsom, who is probably going to turn into president here eventually, but he's being a real draconian scum when it comes to this COVID bullshit. And the latest is that the LA County Sheriff's Office will not be enforcing some of these rules that he's trying to do. Now, in fact, we just went into a lockdown, not really lockdown, whatever, a quarantine, I don't know what it is. It's you can't be, even after a certain amount of time, you can't be out. Everything's got to close, and if you're on the streets, you have to be curfew, whatever. You have to have a good reason to be doing this. It's really fucked up. But whether or not they actually enforce it, let me just throw something else out there, just to change the subject just ever so slightly, because I think this is kind of important. Yesterday was Joe Biden's birthday. He turned 79. Okay. He's not even in office. He is not even in office. And he is the oldest U.S. president ever. Okay. I mean, we've had old presidents. Look at Ronald Reagan. Everybody thought how decrepit he was. Biden is older than Ronald Reagan was.
Quite a while.
So,
quite a bit.
Ever. Older than any living president has ever lived, and he hasn't even taken office. So the bottom line is, we know he's going to die. If you look at him, you could see he's going to die. You could see it in his eyes. He's deteriorating rapidly. And Kamala Harris will become president.
Which is crazy.
When she becomes president, she will appoint Gavin Newsom, governor of California. And both of these scum are hand-picked puppets of Gordon Getty. So, sooner or later, people have to get smart and stop being stupid and realize what exactly is happening very quickly.
Yeah. Again, I get confused sometimes with is Biden, are any of these actually worse than any other ones? They're not all serving the same puppet masters, basically.
Well, again, Biden is just a filler. Of course, as when it comes to evil, he's probably lesser than a lot of them, except that he's incredibly corrupt. Of course, he's incredibly corrupt, but that's not really the issue here. The issue here is that he's going to die, and his vice president is controlled by Gordon Getty. That's the issue.
Yeah.
And when she becomes president, she will choose a vice president, and it will be Gavin Newsom.
not a guy so you could call a friend.
Getty's taken over the White House, and it's happening right in front of our face, and yet nobody will say the word Getty. And if you do, you get shut down.
Just to explain to people, how is Kamala Harris connected to the Getty and controlled by J.P. Getty? Who is J.P. Getty? For the new viewers, this guy, the Getty Museum.
Oh, for the new viewers. Oh, God. All right, look, before I get into that, let me just say something else that's a little bit more important. All of the videos, I just made the last 100 videos, or the last year or so of videos on Truth Cat Radio public. They've been private for the last 2 weeks. I'm still not able to post anything, but I've made them private or public so that people can go out there and get a copy of WinX DV Copy Pro and download that for like $4. You purchase it on eBay or something like that. It doesn't matter, but you get something so you can rip these programs off of YouTube onto your own computer, and then you can upload them onto your own YouTube. And I will say once again, as I said the last week, that it's desperately important now that people do this, because otherwise when this channel is down, it's going to be gone and you won't be able to do this. So if you could just get this stupid little program, rip a movie, just go down the list. Go down the list. Don't pick your favorite one. Just go down the list. This is going to take time. You can delete the thing off of your hard drive, because each one of these things is going to take a gig or more after you're done. But once you've done it, you rip that video, you put it up on YouTube, you cut and paste and copy all the text that I have up there, and you mirror my YouTube page. And then when they take it down, we will have several people out there, hopefully as many as possible, that will have done this, and there will be all these duplicates out there. So when somebody, and then of course you use Stephen Kelley, Truth Cat Radio, and all these as meta tags, so when somebody's searching for it, they will find you. And you can even monetize your page and make money. I don't care. But what I want is to see hundreds or thousands or whatever, at least hundreds of exact copies of my page. So when they take it down, who cares?
Yeah.
Right?
If people can just understand the importance, what Stephen's saying is, like, Kamala Harris is going to be, the vice president, soon to be president, and she's connected to the Getty, and he's all about exposing the Getty and what that is. So you can get his book as well if you go to law17gun at AOL.com, and he'll send it to you for free. And you can find out more about Stephen's story and what the Getty is in great detail and why this is significant.
We couldn't even put up the last show. Like, you haven't even been able to watch my last show because of this. So, so that's bad. But I think at this point, it's, like I said, it's desperately, critically important that this page gets mirrored as much as possible, as fast as possible, before the videos are gone. I
don't know how I'm losing hope right now. I'm just thinking we're somehow, you want to try and wake people up. It's like so much pissing in the wind. It's just a full force gale coming back at you, and it's like, this shit's coming.
Come on, man, you can't lose hope.
It just seems like,
well, we don't really have that luxury. See, my first thought was that as soon as they start persecuting my page, I'm thinking, oh, well, Billy's got to worry. His page is going to get persecuted too. Let's go ahead and take more rights and bear arms. All right, look, Jack, let's address this gun issue here. Of course Biden's going to take away guns, of course. But why is he going to take away guns? Because they don't want us to march on the Getty. It's like, the revolution can't get here quick enough, and everybody, it's like Billy says, there's a tiny portion of the people will actually maybe do something, will actually maybe give a damn and have balls and not be afraid. We don't know how big a portion of the population we can even muster to do that, but if those people don't have any proper guidance, and if they're going off and not focusing in the right direction, then nothing's going to happen. But again, if we're going to do anything effectively, we should have done a long time ago. We could have done one damn thing, is expose these underground bunkers and use the Getty for that purpose. And once that happens, the entire cabal is dead. All this bullshit about Q and all that crap bullshit. All Trump had to do, if he really wanted to get rid of the so-called cabal, was expose the bunker. I mean, this is what I thought. I thought, oh, wow. When I believed that Trump was real for a second, I thought as soon as he gets into the White House, he's going to get exposed to the bunker underneath the White House. And once he gets exposed to that, it's all over, because he's going to want to go see all the other bunkers. And you know what? It did. They took him right to the Getty. And they showed him all the fucking gold. And he goes, whoop, I'm on board.
Right.
So
you think he was legitimate up to that point? You think he was done a deal with the military?
He was never legitimate because he was always a mobster. But what he was not exposed to the true secrets like the Getty. what's under the Getty. He was not exposed to that. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to expose everybody. And here's the thing. Donald Trump, when he was exposed to it, he was being exposed to it as an insider, saying, this is yours. You're going to control this. Look at what we got here. You're going to get some of this, okay? In other words, it was us and them. That gold was not for us. That gold was for them. Their greed did not extend to us. They don't share that stuff with us. That's the big difference. Now, as outsiders, by exposing outsiders to this stuff, we're supposed to get angry. Back in 2012, when I first came out with this information, everybody was talking about Nibiru and all the disaster and all these things happening, and I was trying to tell people, it's like, look, this is a doomsday bunker over here that they have taken our money to build for them, and they're waiting for everyone to die, and they think they're going to live through it. Bullshit. It's like somebody building Noah's Ark and locking the door when it starts to rain. We should be banging on that door and cutting a hole in it and saying, let us on board that damn ship. It's the same damn situation. That didn't happen. So in other words, I tried to appeal to people's desire to live, to want to access the bunker, because that was because imminent death would be coming otherwise. Now we have a situation where we have the pedophilia. The pedophilia, of course, is the issue that's supposed to make you angry. You realize that there's if I can't get you angry that it exists and it exists for them and not for you, I'll try to get you angry by telling you that they're kidnapping your children and taking them down there into their private bunker and raping your children in their private bunker. Maybe that'll get a rise out of you. Apparently it won't. So maybe I say, okay, there's a $250 billion worth of gold sitting down there waiting to be picked up. Is there more money down there? 1,000 times more money down there than there is on the surface of the earth is down there for the taking. Will that work? It's like, hey, greedy people, you want to, but no. So what happens? Trump comes along. Oh, we're going to give you a Dasara payout. Yeah, that's what that was. That was to keep you from going down there and taking it all. Oh, why do I need to worry about taking it all? Because they told me that they're going to give me a tiny 1% more. Hey, I should be happy, right? It's just like, and then, okay, well, let me see. What else could I try to do? Well, let's see. We have Fukushima radiation pouring into the Pacific Ocean, killing the ocean. Eventually, the entire Earth is going to be dead within 100 years because of this continual leakage of radiation. And the only thing that's going to stop it and save the Earth is by going down there and accessing the technology that they've got down there right now that they will not bring up and use to solve this problem until after we're dead. Okay? That right there should be another reason why we should want to go down there. So let's see. Private bunker for the elite that they're not sharing, raping our children in the private bunker that they're not sharing, squandering and hoarding all the gold in the world down in the private bunker that they're not sharing, and they're holding technology that could heal the earth and save us from the poison that is being spewed into our environment at a deathly rate. All these things.
The energy.
Which one of those things do we need to care about?
Yeah.
Anyway,
we have to care about the football with no fans.
Yeah, we got to care about the football. Yeah, football. Yeah, football.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that they're like right now, England's on lockdown until the 2nd of December, but they're talking about extending it, blah, blah, blah. And Scotland's coming heavier down in different levels of tier lockdowns, blah, blah, blah. But then they've got these football games going on with no fans, and all the referees are wearing, everyone seems to be wearing a mask apart from the players. They're all right to score a goal, jump all over each other. The same with the boxers. Their trainers train with them all the time. Then they come to the fucking boxing match because the cameras are there. They've got a mask on and a visor. For the fight, it's just like, what the fuck are you doing? This is completely insane. It just makes absolutely zero sense.
Are you gonna fight with a mask on? God, it's so stupid. Oh, I mean, I can't even get into the
it's just there's a brain. The brain just can't take it.
Yeah, I go into. I just go into blackout as soon as I start hearing all this stupidity. Okay. I'll tell you what's funny. If you look on TV now, these shows like they used to have talk shows, late night talk shows on TV and stuff. I don't know. I'm sure they must be the same over there, but instead of having a studio with an audience and a crew and everything, the host of the show will be sitting at home with a camera like we're doing right now.
Exactly. Yeah. That's
and
brutal.
the guest, hi, I'm Jimmy Fallon, and I'm interviewing Carmen Electra or whoever Lady Gaga over here. Hi, and we're going to sing a duet. Never mind that it doesn't work over Skype because it's digital. It doesn't mix. Seriously, that's what to do. Or it's gotten so bad. Even like these guys, I saw a thing on YouTube. There's a guy on YouTube, and he'll film a thing where he'll get a couple guys together on a table, and they'll eat spicy hot wings, and they'll try really, really hot, just progressively hotter stuff, and they'll get a celebrity on there until the celebrity is like dying because of some overdose of pepper. Anyway, now they'll have one guy at home and another guy at his home do it just like this, and they'll both have a plate of these wings. It's like, okay, I'm going to eat my wing now. I'll eat my wing. Like, oh, I'm dying. Yeah.
It's
they
painful.
get paid for that. They get paid for that, right? What's the difference between what they're doing and what we're doing right now that we can't, right?
That's what the power of TV is unbelievable. Within a week, I've always said, if you got the truthful information on there and told people, like, actually, we've been telling you bullshit all this time, here's the actual truth, and use this tool as a force for good. The movie They Live, they had to destroy the TV station at the end of it because that frequency was going out, and that.
Or V for Vendetta, same thing, right?
Somebody said V, yeah, for V for Vendetta, but I've just watched the actual series V, the 1980s series.
Uh-huh.
I was looking for it, I couldn't find it on BitTorrent or YouTube or anywhere. And I've got my computer fixed recently, and I got a new DVD drive. So I got my folder, and I just opened it up, and it went straight to this DVD of V. I was like, fuck, I didn't know I had it. So I just got Emma. Emma was like, she loved it. Like, first time watching V, the whole series, The reptiles and the fucking wee baby reptile and all that. But there's a lot of truth in that as well. If you watch these things, I talked about Yes Minister, and but also V. There's a lot of they put the truth out there on so many things. And
check this out. I have to throw this out to you real quick, just because it's here. Okay, it says high power infrared illuminator.
A high power infrared illuminator.
High power infrared illuminator. These are infrared LEDs. Yes, high power. This is what we call a infrared floodlight. You know what this will do to someone's camera?
What will it do?
Surveillance.
Blind it.
Blind it.
What are you doing with one of them?
Oh, well, it was for my own surveillance system so that I could see a little further in the dark, but I thought it'd be more appropriate to point it at someone else's surveillance system so they can't see anything.
All right, so you're keeping it in the back burner.
Yeah,
just
a fun little toy.
Just Jack saying thanks for answering, but I don't think we went too much into that question about the 8th chakra. What is the 8th chakra?
All right, 8th chakra. Okay, let's get into that. Okay, first of all, there's many, many chakras, just like there are many, many levels of density and all this stuff. And this is the connection because the chakras, they go up to like 21 or something like that. And so like it's 777. Okay, so obviously the highest levels are at the very top, just the same way that kind of the densities work. So these are like progressions, So by removing the 8th chakra, we didn't have our foot in the next level. With this way, it's sort of like a Tower of Babel sort of thing. People think Tower of Babel, everybody couldn't speak. They had different languages. No, what they really did was they took away people's ability to communicate telepathically. So removing that 8th chakra would limit your ability to do that telepathically, but it would also make it more difficult for you to receive information from higher levels and communicate with higher levels. So, but the thing is, though, is that these higher level chakras are always there. Yeah, we have our seventh chakras and all our secondary chakras, etc., on our body. But these other chakras, the ones that are, just above us and such, technically they're there, but they're like virtual. They're virtual. Okay, so like for
all
instance,
of them.
right, all of them. So here's an example. When you see people, they sit underneath a pyramid, right? And the apex of the pyramid is always going to be so far above the head. Well, that's where the eighth chakra is. That's why they do that. Okay,
All right.
so
So it's like a
the
focal point.
pyramid, right? The pyramid is a lens. It's a focusing. It's a gathering. It's a columnating lens is what it is, but it gathers ambient energy and focuses it inward. So this is why we have it up there. So yeah, you would position it kind of in the place where the eighth chakra would be, and then this would sort of focus it down to your seventh chakra or your crown chakra, which is.
Is that not like a little bit like a Merkaba could start up there and then come down?
Well, yeah, but we don't do the Merkaba thing because the Merkaba thing is dirty. Okay, it's dark side,
Yeah.
and the reason why is because a Merkaba is when you take all of your energy flow and you convert it into one direction, and the direction you convert it into is an upward direction, and this is the dark energy. Okay, and I don't want to say one energy is good and one energy is bad, but it's like for instance, male energy and female energy. Merkaba is 100% female energy. So think of period. Okay. Or period. Think of what a woman is like on her period.
Yeah.
Okay. Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to do that? But also, it's defensive. It's not really defensive per se, but like for instance, when you activate your Merkaba like that, and you turn your energy into completely one way, what happens is your aura gets really big. And this isn't necessarily a good thing because that's what you're doing. When you activate your Merkaba, it's like you get this field around you, this big ass field, and it's a pushing field. So it's sort of like a false gravity, giving. Sort of like when we're service to others, we give gravity. It's sort of act like that, but it's total dark side. And a lot of times they will use this for like you see on like the kung fu movies where they do like a they shoot power and all that stuff. That's usually when you concentrate chi.
I was going to say the Taoists and stuff like that. They do that chi energy and the punch, and they don't even if they connect, they don't connect, and it flies across the room.
That's not good, man. It's not good. That's what the bad guys do. Okay,
Bruce Lee and all that. I thought he was a good guy.
When you stop your flow, that's okay. That's when you basically stop your chi flow, and you're concentrating it into a ball, and you're building it, and then you're releasing it in a not a dangerous way, but a destructive way. Okay, you're trying to be destructive. Okay, obviously, trying to use your energy for destructive purposes is not. It's not what the good guys do.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about the Tibetan monks and that? They use their chi energy to start a fire with paper and stuff. Have you seen that kind of thing?
Well, that's just a demonstration of what they can do. But sure. Yeah,
they're just showing off for that one. Yeah, it's an ego thing. What's this?
Yeah, exactly.
Who needs sticks? I've got my hands.
But yeah, obviously, the bottom line is whether or not it serves others. So if you could say you're starting a fire because you're trying to keep everybody warm, then sure, you're serving others.
Yeah. So you're using your chi energy in a good way. You're using that tool for the greater good.
Right.
Yeah, this is one thing that really gets to me with people as well, the selfish attitude, just in general, people just always thinking of themselves. Why can't people realise that, when you serve others, in theory it should come back to you, but if we were all doing it, it would be much more, I don't know, we've just been conditioned to survive alone, I guess, and not depend on others. So we've lost that.
Well, it's a responsibility, though, even though, I'll tell you, though, even if you are selfish, though, you still should have some level of responsibility. And unfortunately, that's something that a lot of people just don't have. And I think it's something that probably becomes more evident when you become more selfish. But, oh well, right?
Yeah. Talking about Lucifer, and I was listening to another interview download. This woman, she was saying that she was part of the Illuminati. I could get her name up, and I've got a bookmarked it. So she was bred to be one of the top 5 women. She said the top of the Illuminati are actually 5 women, and she was bred to be one of them. But she's backed out of it, and apparently she's going to reveal all this stuff. But she's talking about Trump doing great things, so it was kind of doubtful when she started going down that route. But apparently the Illuminati can't get these other 5 women to replace them, so they kind of know their time's coming to an end, and they've not got the right people in place to rule this thing. I'll send you the link later, but have you any thoughts about women leading the Illuminati or anything like that?
Well, I mean, this Belanoff woman, what's her name? What's her first name again? I can never remember. But anyway, she certainly seems to be the head of that group, and yeah, there are a lot of women.
Right.
So.
And are these human women? They're basically the go-betweens, because she was saying that she can go between easier. Women have more connection to the kind of spiritual realm, so they're more suited to
Well, yeah,
talk.
that's
They say
true.
that they talk to Satan directly somehow. It's quite mad.
Well, I don't know if that's something you want to do, but golly gee, Willis.
Yeah, well, that's what the interview was saying. Being a woman, I don't necessarily want to chat to Satan. Jesse Sezibor, is that the name you said?
What's that now?
Jesse Sezibutar. No. I'll put it in here. In fact, I'll share the link.
Something no, are you talking about the Belanoff?
No, it's a different one. That wasn't the name. Anyway, I've put a link in there if folk want to check that.
Oh, Sarah Westall, I see. That's her, huh? No, I don't.
Well, that's the one who's doing an interview.
The Great Reset.
Jesse Sezibutar.
There's no Great Reset. That's the bullshit we just got through talking about. That's the farce that they're trying to foist on everybody, so that you'll sit there and be sheep and stupid and wait till you're waiting for your handout. I'm waiting for my free handout, my Great Reset. I'm going to get some. I'm going to get mine.
So basically, you're saying Klaus Schwab and Agenda 21, the Great Reset, and all that's bullshit. You're saying basically the 5G combined with the vaccine is kind of wipe out humanity. They go into the bunkers. We're going to die off.
That's part of the Great Reset right there, is when they kill off a bunch of people, there's going to be a whole bunch of money left over for everybody else. They did that during the bubonic plague. All the survivors were rich after that. There's your reset.
And then, so you don't think after they kill loads of us off, what's the goal then? To turn us into worker bees, or just continue to start
Slaves. Again? You think they control us good now? Wait till there's a lot less people to be controlled. It'll be a lot easier for them. And
do you think they're going to do it with technology and this human 2.0 and like the technological age 4? They're saying, what do they call it?
Well, that just makes the humans obsolete. They won't need. All the worker bees that they need to keep their thing going, they just don't need. These are the useless eaters. Right now, most of these humans that are going to be killed, all they do is serve other humans. When if you're going to kill off a bunch of humans, you don't have to worry about people working in the restaurants and stuff in the grocery stores to feed those humans, because they're not going to be there. So what you can, same thing applies to the hospitals and stuff like that. There won't be any essential workers because there won't be any people to serve.
Yeah, to me, it's a big wind down. These hospitals being empty and stuff. They're just winding everything down, and all the companies and the food as well. They're stopping the farmers from growing food.
Well, China's having a famine, and they certainly want to use that as a excuse for everybody to suffer. So basically, they can say we're all having a famine, and then the other thing, obviously, they're going to be selling the food to China, and then they're going to tell you that we're having a famine.
So basically, with the amount of people on the planet and going down the Getty, if this going down the Getty can solve it, and now we've got 7 billion people and we've got rid of the bad guys, it's not going to just be there's no government to control us. Are people animals? Will they, form their own proper common law courts and live honorably, or will they basically?
The technology exists to implement a society that may be somewhat controlled, but at the same time is not this genocidal thing that we've got going on here. So the point is that people are still pretty much savages, and they are going to need a little bit of control, because obviously there's still that selfish thing isn't going to go away overnight. And I know that sounds kind of socialist, but no. Everybody needs a daddy, because they're not capable of making the proper decisions. And this is why we've been taken advantage of for so long, because the people that are in power have led everybody to believe that they were masters of their own universe, whether they're not. And the only thing that they're masters of is being manipulated into giving more and more power and control to the enemy. So that is what has to stop. In other words, democracy and all this bullshit that all men are created equal and that our votes count and all that shit, that's a fucking joke. It's a fucking joke. How can you lead when you don't know anything? How can you make decisions, strategic decisions, when you don't know anything about what's going on in the world in reality? Yep. You know, it's a joke. It's a joke.
Yep. Well, basically, whoever's running things should run them to the correct level, and basically everyone.
These things that are secret shouldn't be secret.
Aye.
Right? I mean, it shouldn't be secret. All this secret shit should be secret.
Do you think this is the time of the great unveiling? Do you think there is a spiritual awakening going on, and this is time for this shit to end, basically? And it's good news.
That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. It's not what Trump's doing. It's what we're doing. It's what we're doing.
In that interview, I'm not sure if it's that one, but there's a link to a previous show that lady was on it, and she was saying that a lot of stuff of what they're doing is fighting the demons on the 4D or the other level, and it reminded me of what you were doing. You know, it's like something else.
That's what we do.
So she was again kind of confirming that there's a war going on there, and she's having success or battles going on there.
She's out there fighting them too. Well, a lot of people are fighting on the 4D right now, and that's really where it's at. And that's why everything's getting so shitty on the 3D, because we're kicking their ass and they're getting paranoid. That's why they have to implement all this crap.
Moon Goddess Juska there just said they're messing with our ability to communicate through our third eye and the magnetic fields.
Yeah, well, that's your cell phone. That's your cell phones. Yeah, well, basically, cell phones do that.
Through a thermometer thing that makes a zapping noise, and I believe that's aimed at your third eye as well. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Well, obviously, your third eye is being calcified by this what you eat and you're drinking, and certainly the stuff they're spraying into the air has a lot to do with that too. But as far as communication goes, if you put an electromagnetic net over everybody's head that acts like a big Faraday shield that prevents signals from going through it, yeah, they're certainly doing that. That's what cell phones do. They've been doing that for a long time.
Yeah. So that's interesting.
Almost ready, Billy? How long have we been at it here?
I don't know, about an hour, but I'm up for working 4 hours or something.
I know, it's got to be getting late for you, right?
1:15 midnight. We'll start next week's one a bit earlier. I was watching
we'll start earlier next week.
I was watching the Savage.
Just to the people listening here, you know, I see you got DMT. DMT's great, okay? DMT's great, but do it with friends, and don't drink it. Don't go out of the country to get it. Smoke it, and smoke it with mint leaf, because, I mean, if you like pot, you can do it with that, but it's more effective if you smoke it on top of mint leaf. And just have a puke bucket nearby, and keep yourself be warm, and make sure you have people you trust nearby. Okay, but it's a great experience, and don't be afraid of doing it.
Right.
Oh, but again, you guys copy the videos and stuff. You got to become guerrilla soldiers and not just viewers. Okay.
Stephen's got 2 YouTube channels: Truth Cat Radio and Stephen D. Kelley. So you can.
Well, it's Steve Kelley and Truth Cat Radio, and both of them are under attack really, really harshly. So.
Yeah. So, and you've also got a website that you got a website address.
Well, we've got websites. We've got truthcatradio. Let's see. There's truthcatradio.com, of course, is the station. Good luck tuning into that. But if you can get through and listen to my show every Thursday night live at 6 p.m. Pacific time or 9 p.m. Eastern USA, just be advised, if you lose the connection, you have to reset the damn thing over and over and over, because that's what they'll do. They don't want you listening.
Okay.
Right?
Well, we've got through another hour on Facebook, so let's see how long that lasts.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you want to do what you got to do, but I've got to.
Yep. I'm going to go to bed. Thanks for watching, folks.
Got to just see you next week, okay?
Okay, take care, folks. Thanks for watching.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya.
I could even get out of here.